Um,
Stuart.
One second. Those of you who are here for the retreat, uh, there'll be a class tomorrow afternoon. I originally planned it at 2 o'clock, but I'd like to make it at 2:30. So if you happen to be in Stanford, you're welcome to come at 2:30. Anyone else who wants to come that doesn't live in California or Oregon, uh, you're welcome to come to the 2:30 class. There'll be another class that we originally scheduled it for 7, but I would like it to be at 7:30 in the evening, and that's just for people who are attending the retreat. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
Yes, Stuart. Why Rudy was associated with the god Rudra of storm and rains?
Who's asking the question?
Marcia.
Marcia, go ahead, ask again.
Why Rudy was associated with the god of rain and storms, Rudra?
Why would
Yeah, why they call it with Rudra?
why
Rudra.
is he called Rudra?
Yes.
That's the name his teacher gave him. Rudra was the earliest form of Shiva. And Shiva is one of the most, it is the highestly worshipped god. Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma are the highest worshipped gods in Hinduism. And Rudra was a very ancient form of Shiva. Shiva emerged out of Rudra. Rudy's energy was of that nature. It was primitive, it was ancient. He taught a form of meditation that maybe went back hundreds of thousands of years. And when he was made a Swami, which he really didn't want to do, but he said, look, the only way I can get teachings in India is I have to become a Swami. So he became a Swami, and his teacher called him Rudra, Swami Rudraనంda. And his name was Rudolph also. I mean, the whole thing kind of fits together. And he had a gallery called Rudy Oriental Arts. And his teacher called him Rudra. And everybody called him Rudy. I know, he always used to tell me he was embarrassed to be called Swami Rudraనంda. He said, it's not something for the West, it's something for the East. It's an Indian thing. So I had to do it because I needed to get the teachings. But nobody ever called him Swami Rudraనంda. It was always Rudy. But
And
Rudy became Rudra. Rudra is literally the most primitive, most ancient form of Shiva.
once in a meditation retreat, we said that rain was a sign of Rudy.
Yeah, well, Rudy, everywhere he went, it rained. So we used to say rain was the sign of Rudy. It's really true. No matter where we went, it rained. So it became his sign. I mean, there's no mystical thing in that. It's just some coincidence that always happened when he would say rain. I remember in the middle of a retreat weekend in Big Indian, and hadn't rained for a month. And in the middle of one of our classes, it started thundering and lightning, and rain came down. And he said, Rudy's here. Came to class. Does anyone else have a question they'd like to? Yeah, I'm happy to say that Kenny Ross is going to post 3 of my essays tomorrow on my website. I hope you all go there and read them. They're very interesting. Tomorrow's Friday. And I think I have 23 more after that I have to post. So we're getting there, we're really getting there. It's amazing. Initially at 108 and down to 23. Does anyone have a question? No, although this meditation, it really stems from ancient Hindu Buddhist practices. You don't hear anything about chakra systems in Western religion. And it emanates from, that ancient Hindu, mostly Hindu, I think, and then Buddhist. When Buddhism came around, they grabbed onto it. It really comes from that. But the way Rudy developed this meditation, it was developed for people that literally live in the West. And, the people living in a world where there's so much tension and there's so much, conflict and mayhem that goes on that we have to deal with every day of our lives. This work is strong enough to transform this daily existence into the highest levels of what it means to be human living here. So although it's influenced by ancient Hindu, yoga practices, it was designed for people living today. And I'll tell you frankly, when I used to go to India a lot, and in Mumbai, they published 2 of my books. And I used to give lectures there in Mumbai. And I'll never forget giving a talk where this woman came up to me. She came up and literally went and kissed my foot and just thanked me. She said, "Thank you for bringing here what we have forgotten." I mean, this is what Rudy created, that you can't even find in India, where it was the source of all of this. You can't find it there. But he created it out of his studies with different teachers in India. And somebody came up to me and said, "Thank you for bringing back to India what we have forgotten." And I thought, that just sent shivers through me. I thought that was completely amazing when she told me that, because I never thought of that kind of thing. Well, as people in India get more westernized, this work, it fits there, you know. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question. It's Craig.
Yes, Craig.
The Shakti that you transmit, where does the Shakti come from? Like the heavens, and you're channeling it down, or is it something you have inside yourself that you're sending out? Or I
No,
was
the
just
Shakti,
curious.
no.
Hmm?
Look, what I have inside myself, thank God, is a highly developed chakra system, one that can sit down and open in a way that it can draw down energy directly from the source of energy in the universe and transmit it to people that are studying in these classes. So what's inside me is a highly developed chakra system, something I've been working on for years to do. And slowly but gradually, this system in myself developed, which has the inner capacity to tap energy from the fountainhead of energy, right from the source of all creative energy, draw it through my system, and then in the classes, it's transmitted to whomever is sitting and working and opening enough to receive it. That's what it is. So it's not something I manufacture myself. It's something that comes because chakras are directly linked to higher energy in the universe. When you develop them, you build them, you strengthen them, you get harmony, balance, the heart is open, the mind is quiet. You become a channel for that energy. And that energy literally only can flow through because a person is in a very deep state of surrender. And then it nurtures people. It's what I got from Rudy. 6 years of sitting with Rudy built that kind of system inside me because I kept taking in the Shakti from him, taking in the Shakti from him. To me, it was the greatest treasure that God ever put in my life, to be able to sit with him, both in meditation classes. When I used to go to his gallery all the time, he couldn't get rid of me. I would sit there and just take in the Shakti that was flowing through him. And it's sort of teacher-student relationship is about. And my need, he used to tell me this, your need makes me work on myself and I grow. The need of every one of you to draw Shakti makes me work on myself and I grow. So this incredible marriage takes place between student and teacher. And the purpose of the marriage is spiritual enlightenment. I hope that's clear. I don't manufacture this energy. I don't run a factory myself, manufacturing this energy. But I do constantly, day after day, continue to develop a chakra system that allows the energy to flow through. And
what does it feel like when it flows through you? Is there a certain sensation that it
don't
has?
worry,
Or...
just keep working on yourself. And you won't have to ask me that question. You'll discover what it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, so the next class will be on Monday. Again, anybody who wants to come, if you live in New York or anywhere, New York is only 50 minutes from here. You're welcome to come to the 2:30 class, and but if, not, look, it's all right also. People have to work and do all kinds of stuff like that. So thank you. God bless you all. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
You, Stuart.